Get busy in here, get busy in here. Yeah, my squad run deep. Yeah, we really in here. I swear whatever you want, you can get it in here. Comedy or the drama, it's a mixture in here. But you love it in here. Yeah, you love it in here. Got reviews up in here. We got stories in here. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit the bell. Oh yeah, 3 clicks like the shoes on Dorothy in here.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy BusyBlu, and I am back with a special guest. Let me know if y'all can hear me. And we are here with Can I Ask You a Question? A podcast with two friends asking the hard questions and hearing the hard truth. I normally do this show with my co-host Tatiana Michelle, but she is out with her daughter and she'll be joining us later. So I got one of my close friends. Her name is Van. Van, how are you? You look good.
Yeah, with 20 minutes warning, I look pretty okay, right?
You didn't have to tell the people those 20 minutes warning. I hope there's not an echo, right? Can you guys hear? Is there an echo? Put it in the chat if you guys hear an echo. If not, I'm going to go just like this.
And of course, there was only 20 minutes warning. You think I wouldn't embarrass you in public when you give me the opportunity to?
I'm really excited that you can join me. Let's hope that Todd can join in. Okay, you guys don't hear an echo. Oh, that's perfect. So this is your first time kind of ever doing like any type of live or anything with me. So this is gonna be a little new. As you guys already know me, BusyBlu, but to introduce you to my friend.
You
can't what? Okay. We used to work with each other a long time ago. Long time ago. We actually been friends for a very, very long time. We've cried together. We've eaten our feelings together.
Yes.
She's danced on bars.
He's thrown dollar bills at women in clubs that were not strippers.
You know what? I have, and I forgot all about that. I was like, I don't drink, but if I did drink, I would have been toasted. So it was really, really good. So it's really good to have you. Yo, how have you been? How was today? How was your weekend?
Well, I mean, my weekend was fine, but I have not been people today, which is why when you called me, I was just literally sitting on the couch midway through Sister Act 2, because I was trying to look after my own emotional well-being. I guess no one knows me, so it doesn't matter. As you know, my husband and I have been trying to get pregnant, and today was confirmation that we were unsuccessful again last month. So
what's gonna happen?
It means I can drink. I'm gonna have a big glass of wine.
You know what? I say you pour yourself a glass of wine. I'm having grape juice.
Yeah, looks like good grape juice.
What do they call this grape juice? They call it a Zinfandel. Never heard of this. Normally I get Welch's.
It's probably the universe looking out for me, because for Thanksgiving we're driving down to see my mother, and get this shit, my grandmother is joining.
I'm glad I didn't come this year.
Well,
oh my god! So how was that gonna be?
We'll see. I mean, hopefully it'll be good. I will now be able to be drunk if it's not, so that's great.
That's actually the best. That's the best news we've heard.
I mean, listen, you've met my grandmother. You know my grandmother.
Very much so. Very well.
Like, I don't think she's ever intentionally cruel. Like, I don't think, but we are talking about the woman who, like, when I was 7 was capable of making such a high-level cutting remark about me not having my toenails painted while I was wearing sandals, that, this, I still can't wear open-toed sandals without having my toenails painted.
Yeah,
like,
it's a necessity for you.
That is the level of deep cut she is capable of. But, like, undeniably, now that she's sober more often, she's a nicer person. So that's
so maybe she won't be as bad to deal with.
No, and this was an idea that, like, my mother and I hatched together before we asked her. So I totally had the ability to say no. But I'm currently riding this awesome high where I am the favorite grandchild, which, to be clear, it's not a huge competition, because, one of my cousins definitely has 3 children by 3 different baby daddies.
Okay.
So it's not like it's not like we're not going like head to head here, in the Thunderdome for favorite grandchild. I always had a little bit of a lead, okay? But I more recently I bought her basically a smart tablet for old people. It's called a
Ooh.
grandpad. And by the way,
I know you lying.
no, it's not. I'm serious. It's called a grandpad. And if you have a senior citizen in your life, anyone out there that like feels really isolated because of COVID, this shit's the answer. So
This is not an advertisement. We do not have any thank you so much, Jamie B. He's one of my faves. Thank you so much, Jamie B. But this is not an advertisement.
I'm telling you, I have paid $50. It's like $50 a month or whatever for the consumer cellular plan.
Yeah.
You can video call people. We have like I call it's what Facebook is supposed to be. So like all of us that are in the family, it's a closed network of all of us in the family, and you upload videos and you upload pictures. But like,
is it like a child thing? Because it gives me something like children supposed to have.
Like a kid's thing.
Yeah, like, oh, you can only contact these amount of people. We upload videos to it.
I approve her contact list. Like no one else can just like contact her. She loves it. She loves it. She loves it. It is like her favorite thing.
Well, Jamie says he needs it for his mom. Where did you get yours from?
It's like a consumer cellular product or something.
Okay.
If you Google grandpad, like
I really can't. Can y'all put that in the past? Some of the mods put grandpad in the so we can make sure that we get some. You know what? That's what my new advertisement is going to be. We're gonna get promotions from grandpad.
Tell them to get you a piece of the coin. Yeah.
Ghost said I couldn't give that to my relatives. Don't want to talk to them, and I'm in the same state as them. But you know what? That's how Ghost is. Ghost is one of my favorite mods, and I'm almost positive they're like, look, I'm not going to give them a telephone or even my address. That's just how Ghost is.
Well, listen, the cousin with 3 baby daddies is not on the approved list of contacts, so you can give it to your relatives. You just then have to control. You have to be the one who adds people to the contact list.
I cannot. Oh, hey, Rowan. Being loud. Yo, put your B's in the comments. First of all, put your B's in the comments for who gave me Jamie B, one of my favorites. Hey, Jamie. And then put your B's in the comments for being loud. Love being loud. I didn't know that's what you look like, Jamie. Being loud. You look good with the children. Are these yours? Who's the man in the back photobombing? We're gonna need some information, just a little bit more. So you text me today. You went on a rant, and it was about yes, it was about like let's talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it. It was about people taking up your space. I'm sure the Busy Bees would love to hear your. So you guys, band is like one of my go-tos when I just need like when I'm having like a mental breakdown or a stress, and I just really need someone who's going to articulate my feelings in a way that I don't feel that I feel judged, but it was smart enough that I should be like, you know what, but you're right. You know, she's gonna read me, but I'm like, you know what, you're right though. So she's one of the people that I go to for that. And today we were talking about people who take up not just your physical space, but also your temporal space from you tell the story.
So I was like, again, I did nothing today because I didn't feel like it. And I live a charmed life. Well, I guess I live such an overachieving life that I can do that, right? Like I overachieve all the time. So when I don't want
she does.
I can actively choose to not. So I was spending some time on TikTok, and I can't remember her handle off the top of my head. It's Cecilia something, but it's a woman that's on there, and she, in addition to like giving these really great kind of like aha moments where she talks about stuff like she talked about today in her TikTok, she also has an affinity for old movies, just like I do, with like she'll analyze like a Fred Astaire scene, or we'll talk about like Top Hat, or the other day she was doing a whole thing about Singing in the Rain. And
Cecilia Gray.
Cecilia Gray. But she was talking about how and it's not really super important, but there's a famous dance scene in Singing in the Rain where like 2 out of the 3 actors are plowed, like, you know, they're completely drunk, and like the fact that they're able to do it and not die remains just a complete mystery, because everyone should have broken their neck in the course of filming the scene.
Okay.
And so she was talking, like, so that's like kind of how I got involved in her channel. But today she was talking specifically about her gripe with having to go visit her family in the Midwest. And it really hit home for me because background on me, I was born and raised in the Midwest. And then I went and lived on the East Coast for almost more than a decade.
With me.
With you. And thinking back on it, I like realized in the grand scheme of my development as like a person, living on the East Coast was definitely something that let me be more myself. And I truly think it's because of the thing that Cecilia Gray was talking about today, which is that when you live in close quarters with other people, just like other random humans, you get such a better respect for not just your own personal space and other people's personal space, because there's so little bit of it, but also the other kinds of space that we should be claiming in our lives, like this idea of like temporal space, like your time, the physical time you spend doing something, talking to somebody, that's also your space. You have a space bubble around that. Or she talked a lot about emotional space, which, like, I swear to God, I've been in therapy for a long time, more than a decade, on and off, because I'm a huge believer in therapy. If you have access to therapy, you should go to therapy. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself. It's one of the highest forms of self-care. But anyway, when she was also talking about this idea of emotional space, like this idea again that like you have a finite amount of emotional energy. I actually call it my like emotional bucket. And when you're out of it, like you're out of it, like that's the end of it. And so you should guard that. And she was talking specifically how people in the Midwest don't understand this. Like specifically because people in the Midwest don't have any kind of personal boundaries when it comes to physical space, because everybody has, you know, 4 floors and a yard and a giant SUV that they drive by themselves, right? Everybody has such a tremendous amount of physical space. They're not taught to be respectful of other people's space or to be mindful of their own space. And so then they have no problem taking up all your temporal space or taking up all your emotional space. They have no problem standing there on a street corner and talking to you for 40 minutes about nothing.
Girl, gotta go.
I have no problem. Like, so in my job, I talk to a lot of people on the phone, and it's totally reasonable for all of them that my only focus for the 50 minutes that they call me should be their problem with the noise level of the rumble strips on the highway. And like it makes me so frustrated. It makes me so frustrated. And actually, for a long time, it made me feel like I wasn't good at my job. That I couldn't like get to this place where I would be so happy about having like a 40-minute conversation with them. So mundane. And I've had like other breakthroughs about that, but I've definitely realized today that like, no, like I don't, that's not you. That's not for you. My temporal space is not yours. It is mine. It is my temporal space. I work very hard to have time and emotional space for the things I want to have in my life because I love them and I value them. They're important. And you don't get to just come in here and take my temporal space. And further, like if I tell you, hey, this is my boundary and you're trying to break that boundary and it's not acceptable, and you go ahead and keep breaking that boundary, I don't owe you anything after that. Like I don't owe you politeness. I don't owe you.
Please get back. Please leave me alone.
No, I don't have to say please anymore. Which
that's true.
The other part of this that I talked about, because it was you and me and our other friend who's also a woman. And the other thing that I said to her about this was like I had such a brain blowing experience about this too, because it's not just that I let people infringe on my temporal space. It's then specifically when they're men, when I try to reset that boundary and be nice, and they get all upset about it and up in arms because I've tried to assert a boundary and that's made them uncomfortable. Right. But then my immediate reaction is to like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Please don't be mad at me. Please don't be upset. Please don't this. Please don't that. And it's like, no, fuck you.
Right. It's over.
A boundary. And
we will not be getting monetized today.
Sorry. I'm sorry. there's not a better phrase for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, I guess. Like I
Mhm.
set a boundary and you ignored it, so now I don't care how you feel anymore.
Yeah.
Period. The end. And I think
Well, the chat said that you were preaching. They said that they definitely understand. Educated Queen says sis is preaching. So they definitely understand what you're talking about. They definitely get you. Ghost said, one of the benefits of being deaf is that you don't have to listen to anyone that you don't like. So Ghost, congratulations. Now you
should
don't have to
I
listen
that's
to
maybe that's
anyone.
what I'll just pretend the next time someone tries to
No
violate.
sound.
Oh, sorry.
You're like, sorry, hard of hearing. I don't understand.
Hmm.
But you definitely were in it. It said Van is the new Oprah. I think that is what's happening. Van is the new Oprah.
No,
You guys, Ted is in the chat. Make sure you guys put your B's or Tad, we don't have anything for you. Maybe we should put something for you. She says she came in on the FU. Okay. Tad, she is trying to make sure that we do not get our money and our coin. She's taking us down one F word at a time.
Sorry.
But Todd should be coming in a little bit later. I'm hoping so. Bible said, "Oh my God, I'm so scary when someone I don't know gets in my personal space, and it never fails. I get stopped all the time when I'm trying to shop by people wanting to tell me their life stories. Well, Bibles, what are you doing, girl? What are you walking about? Is it really just that people are just
the
like,
face?
It's the face.
Have that.
Do you have a warm face? What's do you have a resting beat face, or are you just like talk to me?
If you have that warm face, people just like, or even if you don't, sometimes just being a woman is enough.
I don't know if I have that face.
You do. You do.
Do people do come up and talk, but you know what? I'm also extremely social, and I get very upset when people don't come and talk to me. Like, please waste my time.
I don't know why that's how you feel, but it is.
I'm like, please waste my time. I want people to waste my time. I want people to bother me, to get me upset. It's just something that I love. I just want them to do it.
That's arguably why we're good friends, because I do not want that, and I want people to stay away from me, and you're a very nice buffer so that I'm less frightening.
Or I'm talking to you, so then no one else is allowed to.
This is bothering me. Yeah, no. I definitely, and I guess, I don't know. I had seen this, I don't know. I'd seen this stitched on a pillow somewhere before I got married that your partner should make up for your deficits or whatever. Your partner should play off of, your weaknesses. And I definitely think you as one of my greatest friends, but then also my husband, you guys are both social, nice, happy people. And I truly think that you you take the edge off of getting to know me. You lower the barrier a little bit because I can be.
You know us so well.
I can be very not nice. I can be. It's again. I'm more guarding of my resources. I am. So.
It's because you're an extrovert, Busy. I am an extrovert to the umpteenth power. Whatever the furthest is, I go beyond that.
Well, but you also do have times when you need people to back off.
No one to talk to me. Please leave me alone. But you know what? Those are when I'm emotionally spent. It's like I didn't see my battery run out, and now people are trying to bother me. Shout out to Mama Ghost.
It's either that, or it's also you've worked really hard on something and it's not going to pan out. I think.
Oh my God, those are my worst times when I'm like, okay, and now I'm rushing, or now we're here, and it's like I don't know what to do. Yeah. I get really involved or immersed into work, and it's like no one bother me, no one talk to me. I'm just gonna figure it out, and I'm someone who needs help, and I don't know how to ask for it. Well, I just don't, and I drown in that, and it's like, please leave me alone.
That's arguably why we were such a good team.
That's true.
Because I've definitely realized this about myself even more in the last couple of years, is that I can detach myself from the emotional investment in a work or whatever, and be really focused on okay, what lever do I have to pull, what thing do I have to push to get this accomplished. I can remove my own skin in the game for a lot of it, and I think that's important in the line of work that we do, just as important as being really passionate about stuff, because
That's true. Now don't go too far now.
oh, I won't go too far. I won't go too
Okay.
far. Like most people know, like you have to be passionate about your work. Like you have to care, because unfortunately we live in a capitalist society, and so that bitch is gonna take 9 hours out of your day.
Another one. We're gonna have to mute her mic. We're muting Van's mic for the rest of this thing.
I'm sorry. It's too late.
Apparently. No, it's not. You live like 2 hours behind.
I'm gonna curse like a sailor until the day I die.
What time isn't it like 5 o'clock there? Or 6?
6:30.
It's not too late. It's 7 something here.
No, I just this is the mouth I have.
That dog is over it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's her typical. See,
oh.
paint her like one of your French girls. Look at that. Put it all out there.
We stand. Okay, so let's get into. We've done this for about 20 minutes. Let's get into the question. So, have you thought of a question?
Oh no, was I supposed to think? See, you did not help me at all.
I did not. I did. I said that this was. So then I'll ask you a question first. What is one of the questions that I've been wanting to ask for a minute? I guess it's. I guess one of the things that I have been thinking about, I don't know if this is a relationship question or, you know what? No. Let's go on the, have you ever had a time where you're like, okay, I'm really interested in this, but I'm really good at this. So the thing that you're really good at, you get paid for, but what you're passionate about is something you've never done, you've never gone into, and teeter-tottering into whether or not you should do it. Like, I know that I'm in a space right now where I'm thinking the thing that I really, really, really love to do and I'm passionate about and I want to do that. And it's a fear because the thing that I'm really good at and also passionate about as well is what pays me and keeps me stable. And how do I transition before I get stuck in a space where I don't know what it could look like 10 years from now. And I don't want to say what if. I don't know if you've ever been in a space like that and what did you do?
Well, I mean, I've always been relatively lucky. I think that most of the things that I am passionate about are also things that I tend to be good at and are things that can be made to be lucrative. I'm not going to say they were always lucrative because, to be perfectly honest, partially on me. Again, like a lot of other women, I am really willing to do a tremendous amount of unpaid labor before I will force somebody to write me a check, which is,
I remember that.
A thing I also need to unlearn. But I think that I have very rarely been in a position where I've wanted to do something else and I'm not just simply figured out how to do it. Now, I mean, only a couple times in my life that I have jumped without like a safety net. Only a couple. You were there for one of them.
Is this like why you're where you are now?
Kind of, yeah.
Or
okay.
Okay.
So there's a couple times.
There's a couple things.
But I tend to be somebody who's like meticulous and plans and thinks and that's like true. We'll sit down and figure out how to like get from point A to point B and all of the little spots in between.
And that drowns me. Like I'm just like, okay, girl. Once I start to see how much it's gonna take, it's just like, never mind. It's so easy for me to be like, F this. Like I'm not gonna do it.
Well, I will say this. So and I think I can talk about this and it'll be okay. I toyed with the idea of founding my own company for a long time. That was just gonna be me. But like I was going to just like do it by myself. And that was very overwhelming. Like that was very overwhelming to the point of being a thing that constantly got put on the back burner because I couldn't I think probably not unlike you, like I couldn't conceptualize how Like I just the physical act of doing it just seemed like there were never enough hours in the day. So what I guess happened instead was that I was, I guess, honest with people that I worked with, people that I knew about like what my ambition was, about what I wanted to do, about where I wanted to go, and ended up finding 2 other people who wanted to found a company with me because they recognize my value and they recognize my worth, and and we're doing our first week of client work this week, right? And
congratulations! Why you ain't start with that?
Stuff and I guess I just say that to say like, yeah, like I think things are overwhelming, but like you should ask for help, right? Like you should be honest first of all about what you want, right? Like you shouldn't try to hide that or squirrel that away, and then you should ask people for help. You should let people help you. Like I everything
that's been a hard thing for me. I don't know. I don't think it's a pride thing. I mean, you could tell me. I don't think it's a pride thing. I know that I definitely come from a background where if Busy does not do it, it's probably not going to get done. And being now in a world where, I do have people I can rely on and I have my back, like one of my close friends that I do a lot of my YouTube stuff with, like she'll do more of the thinking stuff. And then it's like, okay, Busy, you've been wanting to do this. Come on, let's do it. Let's go. But it's hard for me to ask for help and to lean, because like I know for a fact you're one of the people that I can lean on.
Yeah.
But you'll have to call me and be like, you looking like you need help, and you don't want to say something.
Well, first of all,
I don't know.
Pick up all of my phone calls for me to tell you when I think you need help. But oh, did you leave? I deserve that a little bit. That was fair. That was fair. But I also think though, secondly, like I know why you have a hard time like accepting help. Like I totally get it. You have really valid reasons for feeling the way that you feel, and for lack of a better word, like that trauma is real. Like it is a thing that happened at the time. It is a thing that sometimes still continues to be borne out in certain scenarios with certain people.
Yes.
But I also think at a certain point you have to ask yourself like how long you're going to let those people who obviously didn't have you as a priority continue to punish you and have control over you, right? Like, and you know this about me too, right? Like my mother and I are all like, kiki now about like, oh, Thanksgiving, it's going to be great, and grandma and blah, 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 and we're going to drink and it's going to be fabulous. But my mother and I have definitely had our issues.
Mm-hmm.
And part of our issues.
When did y'all start like talking?
Yeah, we're talking. We're like friends now. We're just like hanging out. We're good. But importantly, I established different boundaries.
Okay.
Very different boundaries. And it took some time for my mother to come around to those boundaries. Yeah. But my mother loves me. So eventually this was just the boundary, and this was what we had to have for us to have a good relationship. And so we did.
And it's working.
We have not fussed and fought for, I don't know. I mean, probably since January. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Was some of that time not talking to?
No.
Okay. Tatiana says that she's in this space as well. She says she's passionate about giving valuable advice and helping women know their worth, but she doesn't know if she should be a nurse since she's in healthcare. Everyone said she should be a nurse. Now, Todd has definitely gone through, since I've known her, lots of field. I know she wants to be in a giving space and in a giving field. I mean, if a nurse is what you think you should do, Todd, you should have come on today, Todd. Well, we're definitely have to talk about that, but
but don't let anybody else tell you what you should be.
Yeah.
People for years told me that I should be a lawyer. And like, spoiler alert, I don't like school enough to go to school long enough to be a lawyer.
Yeah, but I think you'd make an amazing one.
I don't care. That's not the point. Like, I also have the capability of going out there and working like a 6-figure job and just raking in the coin constantly. But it doesn't make me happy. It certainly doesn't make me any of the things I really value being in this life, which is like a good wife and a good friend and a good daughter. So, I think that people that love you, right, see a lot of things about you that you don't see about yourself. And so,
Yeah.
like, it's fair to, like, listen to that advice, and it's fair to give yourself the opportunity to see yourself through their eyes. But, like, if you really don't want to do something, like, specifically, like, being a nurse, oh my God,
That's a lot of work.
there you have to have, like, a fire inside of you that you're willing to protect, I think. Not just that you have it and it exists. Like, you have to be willing to fight for that fire for you to
Yeah.
decide you want to be a nurse. Just
I think she got the fire. Educated Queen says this is such a good topic because a lot of us get pressured by our family or society to do what pays the bills instead of following our passions or our dreams. And I know that I got boxed into, and I think I talked about this on our channel. I think I got boxed into doing what pays the bills, and not necessarily what my passion was. And before I went to college, I was already boxed in. So I just went down to what pays the bills. And it's something that, and I've always been able to explain it like this. The thing I want to do is to entertain, persuade, and to grow. Like, I could be an amazing agent for someone. I could be an amazing artist development, television development. I would just be able to bring the show and bring the story, bring the girls. I do that in my real job in a different way. I'm able to make something the star, and move forward in a different way. So I'm still doing what I want to do, kinda, but I don't know if I'm fully there. And I think it's because I was pushed to, well, what you're gonna do when this is all over, and you got to try to make a living from that. And that's what I started to decide to do, because this ain't easy. When you want to do the entertainment realm, girl, going by these little checks here and there, the amount of times that YouTube wants to pay me, Google wants to pay me, I'll be homeless. I would be homeless.
well, and I would say, like, arguably, like, what I, to a certain extent, what I do too, like, my ability to stay employed, it's not, like, there are things outside of my control that mean that my job is over, right? Like, and so
That's true.
I have had a lot of different jobs since I left college, a lot, and not that I think that that's necessarily, like, as
but it's relatively in the same space, and you're amazing at what you do every time.
Yeah, but I mean, I could lose my job very, very easily.
True, yeah.
Nothing wrong. It could just be over, right? So I think that, like, there's a lot of, and admittedly, like, that's not my mother's, like, favorite thing about, that's not my family's favorite thing about my line of employment, right? At all. At all. Definitely not. I am blessed with an immediate family that will help me work that out, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that to make those kinds of risks, you have to be sure you've built yourself the kind of foundation where that's going to be okay. And I also think too, I don't, for some people, yeah, I agree. Like, their job has to be their passion. Like, that's really, really important to them. But I don't think that's true for everybody. And I also think that that's okay. For instance, my husband's job is not his passion at all. But his job provides us with a nice living that lets us do things that are his passion, like traveling to Europe or going on fun vacations, or all the, I know all this other stuff that income gives us that we wouldn't have if he didn't do a job that wasn't his favorite thing. So life is about balance. You have to find the balance. You just have to. So
all right, sorry. Some people are hearing the echo, so I'm gonna make sure that my echo turns off, or at least it's not me. Give me a second. If you will write, I'm gonna go through some comments if you want to read them, Van.
Go through some comments. Wait, how do I read the comments? See, guys, look, I'm much older.
It's right on the screen. Are they not showing up on your screen?
Oh, from LaVon Gittens Good advice. I'm a workaholic and I prefer to do everything myself, but you should ask for help, especially if you need it. Oh yeah. I'm not the best at asking for help either, to be perfectly honest. I definitely can get pretty far down the road of, I'll fix it, I'll do it, I'll figure it out, I'll make it work, before I ask for help. But I will say again, like therapy has helped me ask for help. So, and now I'm apparently here by myself. So this is what happens when you do a good deed for your friends with 20 minutes warning. They'll leave you alone on a live chat. So if anybody else has any comments, that would be great, because obviously BusyBlu is the one who has all of the experience. Oh, Jamie B says, it's curious you're talking about this. I'm kind of in the same situation. I was offered a promotion, but I don't know if I want it. Is the money worth the time? So I think that that's really critical, especially like if somebody wants to give you a job that is going to take a tremendous amount of your time. It actually doesn't matter how much more money it is. If you're not going to like it, you're going to hate it. Because don't get me wrong, like having, a solid amount in your bank account and being, able to pay your bills, like obviously that's a huge emotional stress that you need to try to meet, you need to try to take care of, et cetera, et cetera. But so is having to wake up or having to go to bed every Sunday and not just have a pit of dread and despair in your stomach about what you have to do on Monday. Like, it's also really important that you're not, I don't know, crying in the car on the way to work. It's also really important that you're not, sitting at your desk with your shoulders hunched because you're afraid of like the next thing that's going to happen. Like money is great, but it's not everything. And you can't make trade-offs that are going to make you feel differently about yourself. So, and then, Bobble says, Jamie, if you don't have a lot of friends and family wanting your time, then go for the promotion and save. Hey, this is a really important lesson. There is nothing like doing the work, saving your resources so that you can go into a job and just simply say, I'm going to move on. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out. And that can be the end of the conversation. So, oh, he's back. He's back after I carried his show for 5 minutes.
First of all, and you did an amazing job. Put your bees in the comments for if she gave you some good advice, give her $5. I'll make sure that I super chat her $5. I'll make sure that I cash app it to her immediately. Thank you so much for doing that, because they were saying that they were hearing an echo, and I wanted to make sure that because this does go into podcasts, you guys make sure that you listen to this. We are on Google Podcasts, Stitcher, we are on Pandora, we're on Apple Podcasts. So make sure you go give us a thumbs up, let us know. But I didn't want to have an echo if it was one.
I hope it's not me, because
No, it was me, because my headphones weren't on. So then it was going to pick up, my computer was picking up you too.
Got you. So
I thought it was great advice. So Jamie B is saying, Bobbles, yeah, I mean, it won't be a lot more time. I got the spare time on my hands. So I guess, what were they talking about? I was missing it.
Talking about maybe taking a promotion, which would be more money, but maybe not for a job that they're going to love. I would also say, Jamie B, I have to tell you, I actually came to like this, which this is going to make BusyBlu laugh a lot. I came to sort of this like...
Jamie B sent you $5. Said great advice. Look at you, girl, getting paid for being a psychoanalyst.
I came to this epiphany actually relatively recently. I spent much of my career thinking that I hated being a manager, just thinking that I hated managing other people. I think probably because I maybe initially had like a bad situation with it. But recently I've realized that pretty much now in my later career, all I do is manage other people. And that I actually do like it. I have grown more, I guess, into it. And
you were somewhat good at it.
I'm somewhat good at it. Thanks. I'm told I'm really great at it now. It was somewhat good. And it's truly, it's a thing that I thought I did not like to do. I really thought I did not like to do it. And it kind of wasn't until I did more of it that I sort of came back around to the place of realizing, no, actually, I like this and I'm okay with it. So, but then also like Bobble said, Jamie B, like, just save that money. And if you hate it, there is nothing better than walking into an office and saying, hey, I'm out. I don't care what you think. Goodbye.
Deuces. Time to go.
I'm over
Bible said, you're good, Van, since you aren't crying and cursing everywhere else. Not at this job.
Not at this one. No.
We've had experiences where we've had to do that once or twice, but I think, that was in our past. Y'all don't judge us.
I mean, I've had to end people before. I have
very much so.
I have plans to end people this year. Yeah, so.
I can't. Mel says you're doing great, Van.
Thank you, Belle. I appreciate that. Oh, what a pretty picture.
Yeah. Look at those locks. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, and they would see. So I guess you didn't know what you were doing, so because someone said just watch the chat box.
No, because I was like, well, I don't know what to do because I'm here by myself, talking to myself now.
She's what, 1 year, 2 years older than me. She knows exactly what she's doing.
I'm a little older than you.
You ain't have to say all of that. They'll mind their business. Okay, so
young man, such a baby.
I guess he's. Is she done with us? In the background, she was like, "Okay, well, this is boring." Oh, okay, never mind. I thought she was like, "This is boring. I'm done."
No. She just wanted.
Well, so now that you're at time, do you have a question?
Oh, do I have a question?
You have life all figured out. I mean, I'm not the best with everything.
Oh, no, I do have a question. Do you think you would ever live in not this country? Like,
no.
Do you think?
No,
really?
no, never. I love America. Like, I just do. Now, this place is a piece of, and everybody knows it. But one, I'm very nervous. And I get afraid. Like, I don't adapt well to change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the best with that. I know that my partner is like, can work anywhere, because in the tech realm, you can do whatever, however, wherever, and is interested in like moving anywhere. And I'm just not. There's a familiarity, y'all know what I'm saying, with the United States. I get the racism. I know the undertones of the history and the laws. I definitely understand the laws and the policy and the politics. I get it here. I don't know if I want to be, 40 something trying to learn something new somewhere else. Is that what you're thinking about?
I mean, my husband and I talk about it, semi frequently.
Yeah.
Well, I think, yeah, for the record, my husband is Jewish. So, I don't know how educated your audience is on
my audience go all the way to Paris, Africa, Australia. They're Jewish, they're Islamic, they're gay, straight, they're trans. I have people of all kinds. Now, there's only 23 people in here right now, but the reach is far.
So my husband, his family originally immigrated from Russia and Ukraine, and they also,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they also have the ability to claim what's called aliyah, which would just be like, we have decided we want to immigrate to Israel, and then Israel would be like, that's great, please come here immediately, like, don't pass go, don't collect $200. We will issue you like a plot of land, and we will help you guys figure out like how to live here. Like that's an option that we have. Which I don't know. I'm not real jazzed about going to live in Israel at all. But
don't do it. First of all, I'll slap you.
Well, I know. Well, no, actually, where I think I would be interested in moving to is New Zealand. So that's just
okay. Tell us why. Wait, why? Do you truly? Well, because I know right now your family's here. Mm-hmm. You're trying to start a family. You're gonna do that in New Zealand?
I mean, listen, like if there's one thing that trying to get pregnant for nearly 2 years has taught me, it's that I have to live life outside of that. Like I cannot be just doing that and focusing on that all of the time. Like yeah. I will hate myself. Like
that's true.
I will dramatically hate my body, right? Like I will not have a relationship with myself that is positive and healthy. So definitely like, yeah, having a baby is a thing I think about and I consider before I make choices, but it can't be the deciding factor at all. And then secondly, like all kinds of people that are way less cooler than me manage to do shit like this all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, they're way cooler than you, or you less cooler than you.
They're less cooler than me. I'm
yeah, and they
and you know, I think I'm more than cool enough to handle, you know, New Zealand has some fine men. I would be interested in the constant eye candy. I'm pretty sure if we moved to New Zealand, you haven't seen my husband recently. He did this thing. He grew out his hair. He's got this full, like, it's not a Jew fro. It's not what's happening. His textured curl is probably like the same as mine.
Yeah.
And so now it's like cut like really nice and everything. And he just gets out of the shower and like shakes his head and throws his hair like one of those herbal essence commercials. And I just go. And so if we move to New Zealand,
it seems like it's been fun, you know, trying to have a baby then.
That tan to go with it. And then I just, you know, he's got the gray in his sideburns. It's a minute. It's a minute. So yeah.
I don't want you to leave. I mean, but I say that all the time.
I know you didn't want me to move to where I am now.
I didn't even live there. I lived here in the beginning when I was saying that.
Yeah, like you didn't.
I think I was in Vermont when I was like, "Oh, you can't move."
Yeah, you were like, but I mean, like, listen, like, has our relationship fundamentally changed?
No, it's not. I'm still a B. You're still a B. We talk when we talk, and it's like we never left.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most functioning adult relationship that I, you know, probably have. It's on that short list.
I hate you so much. Okay, so we're gonna be ending soon, and in the last couple of minutes, we like to get questions that maybe some of the supporters may have as we end out. Are you comfortable talking about your route to pregnancy?
Yeah.
Because it seems that some people wanted to talk about that, but I breezed and skipped past it.
Yeah.
So I left it alone. But if you want to take like 5 minutes, like, how are you feeling? Like, what was this last one? Somebody said their husband was from Vermont. God bless them, Jam. God bless him. Okay, I lived there. Like I said, it was a bad place. It just wasn't a place for me. Okay. It was not the place for me.
Good for you.
Go said no Ty tonight. I'm not sure. Ty is definitely, this is me and Ty's show. She's not phased out, girl. But she's getting her daughter's hair done. And we weren't sure how long it's gonna take for the hair to get done. So back to you. And what space are you guys in now? Have we started looking at alternatives, or we still continue to do that?
No, we're still. So I just started, and tell me if I'm getting like too graphic.
No.
We just started actually using like an ovulation test to.
What is that?
Well, I mean, it's another thing that it's another fun thing that, you know, a woman can pee on to tell her something about what's going on inside of her body.
Okay.
So I just for the record, as a woman, like, I really need there to be a better way for us to get information than just peeing on things. I'm really tired of having to play in the toilet every morning to know what the hell is going on with myself. Like,
I understand.
It's awful. I have had enough. So I need somebody, just like I need somebody to get on male birth control, just like I need somebody to take like PMS more seriously. I need somebody to like figure this out better because I'm not enjoying it. So we started using an ovulation kit to try to better pinpoint exactly when we thought that I was ovulating. So that we've just started doing that. I actually was miscalculating my ovulation, I think, by a couple of days, just because who knows, you know, I'm old, I'm whatever, who knows. So we're going to move forward, I think, trying to be much more purposeful about that. But like, the other like X factor here is that, you know, I only have one fallopian tube at this juncture. So I had back actually at the beginning of COVID, I had what's called an ectopic pregnancy, which is when the fetus decides to implant in the fallopian tube.
I remember.
It was a pretty scary experience, actually. And it took me some while actually to deal with that trauma and be ready to try again in the first place, because it was such a kind of betrayal of like just everything. And I think it's always a really traumatic experience. If you feel fine when you go into the hospital, you feel great, everything is amazing, and you walk out feeling like just utter trash. Like I think there's real trauma with that every time. If you've ever so anyway, so while fun facts about the fallopian tube, both fallopian when the ovaries and the fallopian tube are not connected, right? The fallopian tube just hangs out in the space, and when the ovaries sends off the chemical signals that it's going to release an egg, that's what makes the fallopian tube go closer to it. So actually, if it's the fallopian tube that's closest to the ovary on the other side, if like the right fallopian tube hears the left fallopian tube signal, it will squiggle all the way through like your body over the top of your uterus and go next to that ovary. So
this is a lot. Now she's giving us all types of education.
Weird. The body is weird. The body is a weird thing. So anyway, so so it doesn't like big picture harm fertility, but it kind of make things a little bit less, less likely happening every time. So point of all of that is that we're still going with the, normal way of doing things, which is really carefully tracking when I'm actually ovulating. So we're trying to increase our chances around then.
And you will. You pee on whatever stick and play in the toilet for as long as you need. I need a little niece or nephew.
It's more like my husband's like, as long as I can get my hands on some vitamin E and some water, yeah, sure, we can give that.
Amen.
Later today.
Amen.
So,
I love it.
Me coming home from work at lunch, babe, I've got 15 minutes. So
do I. I love it. You guys have any questions for Van or I as we get out? Sorry we are on here so late. But it was my fault because I asked her so late because normally we'll be up. I'm trying to keep our show down to an hour. It's gonna when expected. I think she's saying it's gonna happen when you least expect it.
I know.
Be sure to follow us. Oh, thank you guys so much. I would put out bands, but we're not doing that, right? We're not doing that.
I'm very anonymous on the internet.
Yeah, we're not doing it. This is the first and last time you'll see her. We'll keep the video up. Yes, you say.
I'm too well known in my normal life for me to be. I can't help it. I'm a mover and a shaker now. I don't know what you want from me.
Oh, girl, that is a good bond. Bible said, put those legs up in the air. Okay, as much as you can.
Every time. That's what I get Animal Crossing time in. I just sit there.
Oh my God, you guys, let me tell you this story. And I don't think she knows the background. So, our partners are the same in the sense that tomorrow's our birthdays, and now they're thinking about it. Okay. And Bresta said, thank you for sharing your journey with us. And it was my best friend's birthday is coming up, and it was like, okay, this is what I want to get. And I was like, okay, so what do we do? I had all the thoughts, all the plans. So I'm like diving in deep. She wants the cult game Animal Crossing. Okay. It's a cult game. I don't care what anyone says. It's a cult. You get stuck in it. You get trapped in it.
Yeah.
And I think you need to send me your Wii. People don't even play those anymore. This is so off topic, but so me on brand. It's so on brand for me. But I need you to. Oh, okay. Well, conversation over. I'll try. But I was like staying up for like 3 days to find switches in your. I found like 3 in your area, but like every time something happened with it, it was so crazy. I gotta tell you like the real story, but I don't want to do your husband like that on the internet. But it was great. It was crazy. Tatiana Michelle said you did great, man.
Oh, thanks, Tatiana. I appreciate that.
Oh, look at everybody. The girls are loving you, man. You did an awesome job, man. You did an awesome job tonight,
thanks, guys. Thanks.
Okay, you guys. If you want to
hit for me, thank you.
You said what?
It was a good serotonin hit for me. Thank you.
Oh, and you didn't even have a glass of wine with me.
I didn't. No, I'm gonna.
And I have another wine. I have another life after this. I talk about booked and busy.
Oh well, see, I'm gonna go have a glass of wine and finish the second half of Sister Act 2. So.
Oh yes. If you guys want to know more about any of the stuff that I have going on, you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter, BusyBlu, no space, no E. You can also find me on Facebook, the BusyBlu. Make sure you go follow Tatiana Michelle. You can find her on Instagram and on Twitter. You can find her on Twitter, Tatiana ____. You can find her on Instagram, Tatiana Michelle or Tatiana Michelle TV, and you can find her on YouTube, Tatiana Michelle 1. And then you can listen to our podcast. I think Tater Bay put all of that information into the chat already. But we are on Spotify, we're on Pandora, we are on Stitcher, we are on Apple Podcasts, and we're also on Google Podcasts. Can I have a question? Can I ask a question? Go check us out. Let us know what you guys think. We're moving up in our numbers, so we want to thank you guys for the support. I want to thank my best friend Van for listening to me. She did not look like this when I called her maybe an hour ago. And I want to thank you so much for taking time to even just sit down and join this with me. They said you did an amazing job.
Well, I'm proud of you for keeping a commitment you made to yourself. So.
That actually is true. That actually is true. We both of us are about to go get it. No, that's my tagline. We'll just say thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you all next week.